Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, so welcome back to this channel. And the last time we spoke about data cleaning and how we demonstrated we clean data from a dirty data till the point at which the data was very clean. And um, you can still have access to the previous lectures in this YouTube channel. So you can always go back to it to watch it in the previous classes we held. So in today's class, we are going to be talking about pivot table and how we can use pivot table to extract insight from our data, how we can use pivot table to reorganize and restructure our table in such a way that we will be able to see what we are working on. So before that, I'll just show us a brief demonstration of what we did in the last section. So in the last section, this was the dirty data. We work with this data. We perform so many data cleaning techniques, starting from expanding the width of the spreadsheet and the height of the spreadsheet. We also worked around removing stretch formattings. We talked about removing duplicate, blank space. We also talked about correcting inconsistencies and inaccuracies in the data. So we did so many things, working on the data type, correcting errors like text structured as numbers formatted as text. So we did all of those, and we ended up having something like this, a table like this. And I told you the table design can change depending on you. If you come to your table design and you click on any color you want, you can definitely have it. So it depends on how you want to design your table. So for this class, let me just choose this. So I think this color looks a bit suiting to me. I don't know about you. You can decide if you have more, you need more of these styles. You can come here, check different ones. See, check different ones. I think I talked about this in the last section. So without wasting much of our time, I've changed it to blue fine. Without wasting much of our time, we want to work on pivot table. I have some examples here that I've done, but I will just quickly show us and see what we might be returning into. We might be later getting at the end of the class. So these are some example of pivot table that have been done on this particular script, sorry, sheet. And all of this, I'm going to be showing you how to arrive at it and how you can even create your own visual or chart from your pivot table, because pivot table also helps in creating the necessary kind of charts you want for your analysis. So it's used to answer questions, and you know, after answering your questions, you get to know what to do about it through your pivot table, and then you do your visual. So you have a visually appealing or visual suiting chart that explains better what you have in your data set. So without wasting much of our time, let's go back to the slide that we're going to be using. Yes, I have this as pivot table in Excel. Pivot table in Excel. So you might actually be expecting me to say, what exactly is pivot table? What is columns and rows of data so as to obtain a desired report? So there's a particular report, there's a particular insight you want to get from your data set, and you can only get that by what? By selecting the rows and columns you want to use. So it helps us to filter down to the core thing you want to actually achieve in your data set. You might be working with data that is very large, but then at that moment, looking at that data, it might actually look like, where can I get the information I want? How in this, like, what figures am I to pick? So if you use pivot table to restructure your data, it will give you in such a way that you'll be able to select the desired column and rows that you want to extract from data set, and it has a wide range of aggregate function. You can decide to check the average, can decide to check the count, the distinct value, the what was it, what else, a whole lot of things, some maximum or minimum. So you can do all of these things with our pivot table. So it's just like a statistical table that condenses the data you are using at that moment. And like I said, it can actually contain extensive information. So working with a large data set and trying to extract your insights without you implementing pivot table, just like you are being thrown at the middle of the sea and you are told to navigate your way out of it. Definitely, if care is not taken, even no matter how that person can be so what's it called, skilled in swimming, it can be so difficult to get out of the ocean. So pivot table helps you to what, to reorganize and restructure your table so as to what, to deal with a part of the data according to what you want to analyze, according to what the insight you want to get. So it's just like, take for instance now, let's say we have a list of sales with information. That means a table called sales with information like product, name, we have dates, and we have amount. So a pivot table will help you to quickly see the total sales of each product. You can also able to check the trend analysis by what? By showing you how sales vary by month. So it's like you turning a messy pile of information to a neatly organized report so as to see the important analysis, your desired analysis, even at a glance. So one beautiful thing about pivot table is that with your clicks, just few clicks, it rearranges it and summarizes it for you, and it reveals patterns and trend effortlessly. Do you understand? It's help you to see everything effortlessly. So that is one thing about pivot table, and we are jumping right into it. But before we go into doing every other thing, let's talk about the purpose of pivot table. Now, like I've been saying since, that it's actually able to turn a messy pile of data into a structured data, a structured table, and every other thing to be able to focus on what you have to do, which is part of this. So it allows you to display the exact data that you want to analyze. So you don't need to do work on data set at that you're not working at that moment, working on at that moment. You just focus on what you need to, because you can have a table that has a large number of data, like I said earlier, 20 columns, 100,000 of rows, and you want to just focus on just two columns at that moment and just few rows that fall into the criteria you're trying to get. So with pivot table, you can easily do that with just few clicks and you have it. It's like snap of your finger, you have it. So it can also able to review data from different angles, from various angles. Like I said, you can decide to check the aggregates from the kind of aggregate you want to work on. It could be sum or total. It could be average. You can even do the count. You can even group your data. You can do so many things. You can sort it in ascending and descending order. So it's able to view your data from different angles. And it's also able to focus on only section of data according to your requirement. I've explained this earlier. Then one of the beautiful thing about pivot table is that it makes comparison very easy. Because when it comes to visualization, we have four categories of visualization. We have comparison, we have composition, you have relationship, and also you have distribution. So when it comes to comparison, it's very good at it. It makes it so easy because you can just compare. Take for instance, you want to know product that has the highest sales and product with lower revenue. So once you just pull up all the product name inside the desired, drag it inside the desired field and drag the amount or revenue into the desired field also, then it automatically was structured in such a way that it gives you either the total revenue of each product. So you could actually see it from the using, you can either use sorting, you can write function to get that, or you make use of conditional formatting. So it will actually help you towards to review you product with highest revenue and lowest revenue. So that's one of the things that pivot table has that's so amazing. So it can help you to detect patterns and relationship, data trends, etc. So these are so many things that you can actually do from what, from a pivot table. So So these are part of the thing that I'm going to be sharing with us in today's section. So before we go into that, let's also check. Um, Okay, like I have it here. Okay, it's able to create data, then it also create accurate reports. So what are the things that we could actually see or find in our pivot table? And we're still going to be showing that too. So these are a picture of our pivot table. So these are the things I'm going to be finding there. You can see the pivot table field. You can see the drag field also. So what are the pivot table fields? Then the pivot table fields will be seeing the list of column names, which is this. Sorry, I have to be switching tabs so that you see what I'm doing. So this is the pivot table fields. These are the column names. So this is what we're going to be practicing soon. And the drag fields, you have filter, columns, rows, and values. So what are the filter area? It allows you to filter all your data based on some criteria, and it's located at the top of our pivot table. You could see that the value area is an area that's located below the column in the pivot table drag field, and it's used to display the value of the column you're working on. So it could actually have a discrete data or a continuous data inside that value. But mostly, continuous data is mostly used. If we use a discrete data, you can only have the count of the count extent to do there because they are mostly text. So in this field, we can perform different kind of iterations like sum, count, average, and etc. Then this row and column area, you see I'm going to be demonstrating that to us. So this is an area in the pivot table field that displays unique value in the data placed in the row field, and also the same thing for column area. Pivot table that represent field you want to place in the columns. So these are what it's going to look like. This is how it's going to look like. Whereby you have your columns, the list, the filter drag field, the column drag field, the row drag field, and the value drag field. So all these things I'm going to be showing you and demonstrate how it works. So what are the steps in creating a pivot table? One is just to select data range you want to pivot. Then you go to your Excel ribbon and click on what? The pivot table. Then select the new sheet. Though it depends on you, or but it's advisable to select a new sheet. Like if I like take for instance, I like having all my pivot table in just one sheet so that I won't have a lot of sheets open up just for pivot table. So I have one. I have to create. I usually create just one um sheet for my pivot table. So I just organize in such a way that they don't have to interfere with others. So then you will see an empty pivot table created in the pivot table field, which also is both the column names and the four pivot table track options. So these are what we're going to be doing. So there are some operations in the pivot table like we're going to be doing also. We're going to be working on sorting, how to arrange our data in either in ascending or descending order. We also work on value field settings, whereby you can easily navigate to check for the particular option aggregate function you want. Then the grouping, you also work on grouping, whereby you can group table into similar or into different structures. You can restructure a table. Then you're also going to be talking about formatting pivot table, how to format the table such a way that it will help you to have a better look on your table, and also conditional formatting also be used. So pivot charts, this is how you're going to be visualizing your pivot table, and those are the things you're going to be doing in short while. So there are some questions that we might be asked through the pivot table, which have been listed here. So without wasting much of our time, let's go to our Excel sheet. Let's just dive straight down to the Excel worksheet. So this, like I said, these are some pivot table. So we might be having something related to this. You just like practice like 4 or 5 examples, then you see exactly how it works. So based on the data set we have, we can see we have a data ranging from column A to column O and row 1 to row 700. You have like 705 records there. So to create a pivot table at first, what you need to do is one, select the entire table. Now, I want to show you something. Selecting entire table is different from selecting your entire worksheet. I'll be using Ctrl A to select the entire table, and I will show you 2 instances. So you have to be very careful while using Ctrl A. Now, why I'm inside the table, while selecting any cell inside the table, and I press Ctrl A, it selects just the table form. You can see column A to column P has been selected, and row 1 to row 700 has been selected. But then if I'm not selecting any part of the table, any part of my table, and I decide to select a cell outside the table just like this, and I press Control A. This selects the whole spreadsheet for me, which is not what I want. Do you understand? So you have to be careful with your selection whenever you're using your Control A shortcut key. So if I want to select this table now, I have to make sure that I am selecting a part of the table, a cell in the table, and then press Control A. So once that is done, the next thing to do is I'll go to my insert. You can see inside my Excel ribbon now, I have insert. So once I click on insert, then I will see pivot table. Pivot table. So once you click on pivot table, then you have a dialog pane that will be shown that shows here. So this one is talking about automatically it gives, because I have not named this table, so it gave me what, table A. Yeah, sorry, table 1. So if this is table 1, that is fine. That means it has already selected the range of table that data set I'm working on. Then the next thing is what, new worksheets, and you have existing worksheet. Like I said, this is the first of its type. This is my first pivot table. So I would love to just create just the to select new worksheet. I already have a pivot table already, and I have a pivot table sheet already, and I want to still work on that. I'll select the existing sheet. But right now, this is my first pivot table. So I'll click on new sheets. Then once I click on OK, you see what I just demonstrated to us. So can you see the same thing we have in our slide is just what I've just demonstrated now. The same thing we have in this slide right here. You can see them put on slideshow so you can have a broad view on this. So can you see the same thing we're having here? Just that the other one is in dark mode. That was really different. So the same thing I'm having here is what I'm also having in my Excel worksheet. So let's dive in back to Excel and let's show you how it goes there. So I have that. So these are the list of the column names you have, and these are the drag field. So let me quickly take you back to the data and show you one things you can actually work on. Let's say that, okay, we want to know, like you have a column like segment, country, products, discount band, units sold, manufacturing price, sales price, all through till you get to the month and the year column. So let's say I want to know product with the highest revenue. For this particular data, our sales column is the what is our revenue. Do we have another one, gross sales? These are the expected revenue, or let me say revenue without discount band. So products that that has discount band on it, like now we have 4 categories of discount band. We have none, we have high, we have low, we have medium. So take for instance, let me sort out for product with high discount band, and let's see what's happening there. Now these are product with high discount band. We can see that the expected revenues was 16,296 dollars, but we're having 40,666 dollars. So this shows that on this particular product, for this segment and in this country and at this particular time, there's this high discount band on the product, which gave us a revenue, eh, a revenue of what, 14,666 instead of having 16,290. So I didn't mean there are no discounts on this product this particular day. It was sold, then you should be having this gross sales as your revenue. But then you're having what sales. So that's just what thing about the discount bound column. Take for instance now the one that does not have any discount band, like none. You can see the one filtering it. So non-discount band, you can say having the same gross sales and the same sales. So the expected revenue and the actual revenue. So this is what we are having. So it's the same because there are no discount. There was no discount on those products at that period of time. So let's take it back to the original table. So now let's see that they want to know product with the highest what? Product with the highest revenue. So like I said, I'm working with the sales column and I'm also working with the product column. So I want to know column with the highest revenue. So let's just move back to my pivot table. And now you can see the list of the column names are here. So one thing I just have to do is that I'll locate the product column name, then left click and drag. I'll either put it on row. So as I put it on, we can see that the selection Let me just expand my worksheet a bit. You can see that it has only brought out the unique what? The unique product names. It has brought out just the unique product name. So what I need to do is, okay, I want to work on product and their revenue, so as to know the product with the highest revenue. So I'll just look at search for sales. You can see this is sales at this place. These are our sales. So I will left click and drag it on values. Now the question is, why am I putting sales on value, and how do I know that I'm meant to put sales on value, and how do I know that I'm meant to put product on rows? Now sales, this is the numerical analysis. So anything numerical, I drop on the value icon or the value drag field, except if you want to count your discrete column, like probably you want to do a count of distinct count of your products or any other thing, you can put them on the value. But for majorly for any column that is numeric or integer, you put them on the value column. Now product is a discrete column, like I said, a discrete data, because it's categorized, it's grouped somehow. So I can either easily drop that on my row column. As it is on row column, I can also decide to put it on column drag view. Sorry, you can see that the orientation has changed. It has changed it. So this is a column wise view. If I drop it down on my rows, it's going to give me row wise view. So because I just want that one is a little bit longer, so I just have to just condense in such a way that I can easily see what I'm looking for. At the same time, I can actually make use of both row and column, even filter. We're getting there. So now, before we go there, let's see how can we actually easily recognize the column, the product with highest revenue. Product with highest revenue. So now we are seeing the total revenue for each product. Like you have Amarilla having this total product, Carretera having this total product, Montana this, Pasio Velo VDT having this. So how can we easily recognize the column with the highest revenue? So there are two ways in doing that. Three ways I'm going to be showing. Sorry, three ways to get to that. I'm going to show you. One is by sorting. Sorting. I'll just write it here. Sorting. The second one is by using conditional formatting. Sorry. Yeah, the third one is by using function. So this sorting, let's start from sorting. To use sorting now, what I'm going to do is, mind you, I'll be selecting this data range. Mind you, your grand total value is not part of your data. It's just showing the total revenue. So while selecting, try as much as possible not to select grand total value, because if you do it, automatically it's going to give you another analysis saying that the grand total is the highest sales, which is not right. So select just the range of data you're working on. Click on the first one, left click and drag. After doing that, in your home tab, go straight down to this part that says sort and filter. Can you see? Sort and filter. Click on the drop down and say that you want to sort from largest to what? To smallest. If you do that, it automatically sorts it in such a way that product with the highest revenue comes first. Can you see 33 million, 11,000 dollars. Now, followed by VTT that is having 20 million or 20.5 million. Velo having 18.25 million, Amarilla 17.74, Montana 15.39, then the Carretera 13.81. So you can see now automatically that you are seeing products and their revenue. Then these are actually able to sort it in what a descending order. So bringing the first or the largest number first, follow all through to the list. So that is one. Two, conditional formatting. You can still do what? Select the range of data alone. Then still on your home page, you go to this particular place called conditional formatting. Click on the drop down. There are different options here, but I'm going to be showing you how data bars works. So if I click on data bars, I have two different options: gradient fill or solid fill. So it depends on how you want the one you want to work with. But look at the gradient fill. Look at how it looks like. Can you see? It has different gradient, like ranging from a darker shade of blue to a lighter shade of blue. So it can see the range. But if I want to use solid field, this let me just, I'll first of all have to clear this row. So just come to clear selected cell. So guys, the pivot, the conditional formatting is gone. Then I'll go back to data tab and probably select another one. Can you see the difference between the first one and second one? This one is having a solid field. You're having just one color. It's not ranging from the darker shade to the lighter shade. You just have just one shade of color. So that is how conditional formatting works. So you can see that it has easily revealed to us. You're looking at data sets. It has easily revealed to us product with highest revenue. So that is fine. So for the function to do this is called max. The function to do this is called max. So max helps us to check the highest value in a particular data range. So I'm going to just be writing the function, and before you write the function, you start with equals to max max. Sorry, that's meant to be max into bracket. Then I'll select the data range from this cell straight down to this cell. That's from B4 to B9. If I close my tab and I hit enter, then I still have the data to be what? To be 33.01 million dollars. So which is for Passio. So Passio has the highest what? The highest revenue. So you can use that how we easily get this using pivot table. How we easily answer that question using pivot table. So we can see this having the highest revenue. Passio is having the highest revenue. So now let's dive more into this. Let's say we want to create another pivot table inside this existing sheet that I said will be dedicated for pivot table alone. Next thing I'm going to do is that I want to create another pivot table inside this pivot table right under this. So you're going to be creating a pivot table right under this. It is always expected of us to leave at least three to at least two rows, but I love leaving three rows. Now we can see this pivot table. Why we even created it on the new sheet? Excel automatically drop it down to the third row. Why? It's because this particular row is used for your filter icon. So peradventure you want to make use of filter on this table, it will still have a place to create filter for that pivot table. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Just 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to drop 2. So these 2 will be for my filter. Then I want to have a gap so it will be connecting each other. So I'll just start my pivot table right on row 14. So I left 3 rows. So started on row 14. So I have to first of all click on row 14. Then I'll go to insert. So once I go to insert, I'll go to pivot table. Then the next thing, the same thing is actually what the dialog box that we have the other time actually came out. Now in this dialog box, the first one, we already have our table name written as table 1, but this time around it's not written. Why? Because we've not made any selection. So we have to select the range of table that you want to convert to pivot table. So you can see that right now automatically Excel detects that this is being created on an existing worksheet. So it automatically checks this for me, existing worksheet. So what I need to do now is I will have to go to my data, my clean data, which has cleaned, click on any cell just like we did in the other one, in the table, then press Ctrl A. You can see that the name has changed to table 1. So after this is done, click on OK. Then you see another pivot table right under the one that has been created. You can see that 3 rows has been left. I left 3 rows. Now, this time around, let's check into the table and let's see another analysis we can do. Let's see another analysis we can do. Let's still work with product and sales. Then this time around, we're going to be showing the country. So we want to see the revenue generated on product in each country. Products acquired, I'm sorry, revenue acquired on products per country. So that's the pivot table. That's what we want to do. So right now, revenue acquired on products per country. So I'm still going to be dropping my product on rows, which you are very familiar with now, I believe. Sales on values, which is going to give me the same thing we worked on the other time. But this time around, I want to check it per country. So I can just drop my country on column. I'm going to show you 2 ways. Now, dropping my country on column, can you see what I have? I have an extensive, not really extensive, but a well drilled through table that shows the the information for us. So it's like it broke down each value here with respect to what to country. So for Canada, this is what we have. This is what we have in Canada. See the total amount of patio in Canada is 7.6 million. Hmm? In France, it's 5.5 or 5.6 million. So these are it works. You can see per country, you can see the breakdown of revenue made on product per country. Revenue made on product per country. You can see now, you can see. Then let's just say that, okay, for Canada, let's see product with the highest revenue. This for Canada, product with the highest revenue. So I've selected the range of data. I'll go back to conditional formatting. I'll go to data tabs. I want to use solid field for this. So let me just, I will choose any color. You can see with data tab, with data conditional formatting, it's showing that Patio has the highest revenue in Canada, followed by BTT, followed by Amarilla, followed by Montana, then Carretera as the least. What about for France? Let's check France. Select data range, go to conditional formatting. You can also use color scales. Can you see? It shows red for the least and green, darker shade of red for the least and lighter shade of green for highest. But instead of that, let's just work with data bars because this actually shows more of this. You could actually see it clearer. So let me select this. So for France, this time around, Passio is still having the highest, but followed by Amarilla. Then we have VTT, we have Velo, we have Montana and Carretera. So can you see how this picture, like this is almost showing like a graph, like a bar chart. It's already showing us the comparison. Like I said the other time, that it makes comparison very easy. So this is what I was illustrating to us then. I was explaining to us then. So it's actually help us to compare values of our products with respect to what their country. So to see the ones with the highest value or revenue. Let's do the same thing for Germany. Select data range, go to conditional formatting, go to data tabs, then select the color. So can you see this time around, Velo happens to be the second highest product, followed by Amarilla. But Pasio still holds the highest product. Pasio still has the highest product per country. Let's check. Let's even see that if there's going to be a country that has that Pasio happens to be the least. Do we even have that? Let's check. Let's check. Let's go to data bars again. Let's pick a color that we've not used at all. So let's pick this color. In fact, look at this. Value has the highest. In fact, the distance between the highest and the second largest is more than half of it. So the second largest does not even meet up to the half of Passio. So Passio Makeup actually has either higher count of customers in each country, or is a product that is well known or well used. So let's check for USA and let's go to conditional formatting. So let's pick a color we've not used before. I think you've not used this blue. Yeah, you've not used that blue before. Now, it still has the highest. So across all the country, Pasio has the highest what? Highest revenue. So you can see how we're able to drill more down into the data set we have with respect to revenue per country. Revenue made on products per country. So you can see now for Canada, this is total was revenue. For France, this is total revenue. For Germany, this is total revenue. Mexico, USA. You can, even for this case, you can say check country with the highest revenue and country with the lowest revenue. And that's just by selecting the grand total, grand totals for each country, but not the grand total for all the products. The grand total for each times I'm selecting Canada, I selected France, I selected Germany, I selected Mexico, and the grand total for USA. So this has been selected. I can still perform my conditional formatting on it. Go to my bars, then let me choose a color that will be more visible. Yeah, let me pick this color. You can see 25 happens to be the highest, followed by 24.83. So with this color, you could easily see it. That USA has the highest was revenue, followed by what? Followed by Canada, followed by France, then Germany, then Mexico has a list. So this is how we make use of pivot table to extract more insight in our data set. And I'm still going to demonstrate more to us, like two more examples before we end the section. So look at, you've been able to do that across using two drag fields. In fact, three now. You make use of rows, columns, and values. But what about filter? What about filter? Let's check again. Let's see. Now, the analysis we had the other time, we have another column called segment. Now, let's now impute segment into that analysis. So it's going to be like, the analysis is going to be like products, revenue made on each product per country. Okay, wait. It's going to be revenue made. Okay, I want to get it all total revenue generated on product um per country and segment. Yeah, for each segment. Okay, yes, that's awesome. Total revenue generated on each product per country on each segment. That's awesome. So you're going to be creating something like this, but this time around we're going to be imputing our what? Our what's it called? We're going to be imputing our filter tab. We're going to make use of filter this time around. So, like I said, I'll have to leave three space. So you see the reason we're actually leaving the space now. Three rows, sorry, not space, three rows. So click on the fourth one after the third row. Then go to insert, go to pivot table. Then by now you know that you understand how to go about selecting the data. Click on the data tab. And inside, click on it. Then click on any cell and control A. Then click on OK. Then have another table created. So we want to know product revenue. So I drop my product total revenue on each product. Sorry, I drop my products on rows, my sales on values. Now this time around, I'll still have my country on columns, but I want to work with segment per segment for each segment. So I will now drop segment on filter. Now, what did you see here? You can see that a filter role has been created. Segment this time around is saying all because I've not filtered it down to the segment I want to work with. So let's say that let's go back to our data set and let's see the distinct segments we have. You're not actually selecting all. Let me select all for this data. So for segment, we are having 5 different segments: channel partners, enterprise, government, mid-market, and what? Small businesses, which is fine. So let's go back to our data. Let's go back to our data and you can see if I click on this drop down for the segment, I'm going to be seeing those 5 segments also: channel partners, enterprise, government, mid-market, and small business. This time around, everything has been selected. If you notice that there's a little bit of selection on all, can you see? That's why we are having everything selected. But let's say we want to filter this down to just one particular segment. Let's check the analysis of this table, or let's see the analysis of the total revenue generated on product per country on government segment. So I've selected government and I'll click on OK. You can see the values has changed. The values are compared to this. Now let's take for instance now parcel that happens to be the highest in Canada. Look at the values. Oh. We look at what we're having here, 39. Why? Because we've drilled this down to what? To government column alone, government segment alone. That's actually shown government segment alone. So you can still do your pivot table, do the other thing, then you get it. But this time I'm just showing you how filter icon works. If I click on channel partners, keep an eye on the table and see the way it's changing. Channel partners, see what you have. If I click on mid-market and I click on OK, you can see the analysis of what the total revenue generated on each product per country on what the mid-market segment. Small businesses, if I click on that also, you can see how the table is changing. And at the same time, I can do multiple selection. I can decide to select, let's say that we want to see total revenue generated on each product per country on small business and government segment alone. Two, and you see, I have to first of all check this box, select multiple items. Then I check small business and government because those are the two segments I want to work on. I click on OK, then it's showing me for what? For small business and for small business and government. You can see. So these are two different sectors selected or segments selected. But let's say I want to go back to the previous one. I'll just click on this all and check this, click on all, then okay. Then I have the initial analysis just like we have up there. So you can see how filter works, how filter works, how filter works. So like I promised, I said I'm going to be demonstrating 4. Right now I have 3. So let me do one more analysis on this pivot table. Now the analysis is what year of the month do we have the highest and the lowest revenue? So what year, or sorry, what month of the year, sorry, apologies. What month of the year do we have the highest revenue and the lowest revenue? So now in this kind of scenario, that means you're going to be working with a column called date column. But luckily, we've been able to extract the month name using this function called text function to extract month name from a table, from a date table. Been able to do that. Then we now want to work with sales. So going back to our previous pivot table, I've left 3 rows. Another thing is that you can actually decide to create a pivot table by the side of this other part of this sheet. But let me just keep using it vertically. Just keep going down. So I've left 3 rows. Then I'll go to insert, go to pivot table, then go ahead and select my data range, Control A. Mind you, your selection must be inside the table. Okay, then I want to work with the date column. So let's see, even if you drag the date to rows, how is it going to come out? How is it going to come out? Can you see? You only have just 2 years. You only have 2 years. For this, you have the quarter. You have what? We have September, first quarter, second quarter, October, November, December. So if you don't want to use the what's it called? The month name column, you can just select the month alone. Once you select the date, it's going to break it down into 3 different categories: month, quarters, and year. So I just want the month alone. Can you see? That's helped me select the month alone. Can you see the month alone? The month alone. Now, I also want it for every year, for all the years I have. I also want to visualize the year. I can still drop my year date inside this. Can you see? I only have 2 years, 2018 and 2019 in my table. So hope you are seeing what I just did. Let me do that again. That might actually look a bit technical. Let me just do that again. Control Z to take it back to the initial. Now, this is how it was. Normally, I could have just see month name in rows, year in column. Do you understand? But scenarios where we don't have the month name and the year, we only have the date. You can still do that. Just the date column, drop it on your rows. Once you drop it on your rows, it's subdivided into what? Into 3 different categories: the month, the quarter, and the year. But I only want to work with the month. So I will uncheck quarter, I will uncheck here. So I have the month. But the year, I will left click and drag it inside my column drag field. So I have 2 years in this data set. I have 2 years already in this data set. And this is the month range from January to December. So now I want to work on what sales. I will now drag and drop my sales in values. Then we have this. Can you see? I'm having all the sales made in 2018 and 2019 inside this pivot table. But the question is, why are we having blanks from January to August? The reason is because this company started their operation September 2018, and currently till the data set was collected till December 2019. Hope you understand that. So now we now want to work on the country, the date, the month of the year that we have the highest and lowest revenue. Like I said, you can actually use this time I can actually use 2 formats for this, 2 formula for this. You could either use the sort. You can use sorting now, because if you sort it to disorganize the range of the way our month name is organized. So I don't want to scatter this. So I won't be using sorting. So I'm going to be using function and conditional formatting. So let's start with conditional formatting. Let's see what conditional formatting we have for us. We've selected the entire data set, even with the blanks. Select it. Okay, even with the blanks, just select the two columns and all the rows. Mind you, the grand totals are not in what you're not selecting the grand total. So I'll go back to my home tab, select on conditional formatting, go to data tabs and pick any colors. Pick any color. Is this green fine? Okay, this actually looks more visually appealing and actually see this more. Now looking at this very well, you could see if you compare the bars, you could see that 12,000, 12 point, sorry, not 12,000, 12.34 million is having the highest revenue, while 4.4 million is having the lowest revenue. So you could see automatically that in the month of September 2018, the date, the month where the operation started, we have the lowest revenue, while in the month of October 2019, we have the highest revenue. Can you see automatically how we're able to get that using conditional formatting? What about function? Now, function to get the least or the minimum value is called min. That's the function. So I'll just write minimum. All right, minimum here. I'll make it bold. Control A, Control B. I'll make it bold. Then write the maximum value. Maximum here also. Make it bold. So for the minimum value, I'll say equals to min. That's the function into brackets. Then I'll select that selection. Please, the selection is highly important. And while you're selecting, be careful of the selection you are selecting. Be careful of the cell and the columns and the rows you are selecting. Now, I selected all the data in 2018 and 2019. You might be asking that, why am I selecting the blank space? I'm selecting the blank space because it's not possible for me to start my selection from September. It won't be able to capture every other data. I want to capture all the range of data. That's why I'm having the blanks auto selected. So it's not affecting my data. So close your bracket and hit enter. Then can you see 4.44 million 484,003 dollars has actually been what has actually been um displayed for us. So I can make that bold. Then for maximum, I'll do the same thing. Equals to max, open my bracket, then do the selection from January 2018 till I get to December 2019. Then I close my bracket. Then this also will display for me the highest revenue. So you can see that in the month of September 2018, I have the least revenue, which is also displaying here. And also in the month of October 2019, I'm having the highest revenue. So with this, we can easily start doing our visuals. Can start our visual doing the pivot table, pivot chart. So it's very simple. One beauty about pivot chart is that once I have my pivot table selected, then created, and I just click on one part of the pivot table and I go to insert and I select pivot charts, then you can see I'm having the chart automatically. Column chart is suggested, which is what I want to use. So okay, then you see the chart also. Can you see it's showing that Passio has the highest. Passio has the highest. Now let me also show us another kind of chart here for the dates column. Because this is it's talking about data. When it comes to dates, it's always best shown, or the visual is best shown in what's it called, in line chart, because it was with trend analysis. So I'll go to insert, I'll go to pivot charts, then this time I'll select line. So I'm actually having two line charts here, which is still fine. The one is showing for 2018, while the other one is showing for 2019. So it depends on how you want your chart to look like. So you can see the chart for this also. Very simple. Can you see easily? I'm creating the chart. So you can see the analysis for 2018. September is having the least. Can you see? Why 2019? October is having the highest point. So the same thing, you can actually visualize it right there. So that's how it works. So that's pivot table. That's how pivot table works. Can you see how we use pivot table to make deep analysis on our sales column and other columns we work with, like product, segment, date column, and also the country column. So this is how it works. So if there are questions, you can drop it on the comment section. then it will be attended to promptly. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining to the end of this class. So this will be the end of the section. See you all soon. Thank you very much. Like I said, if you have questions, kindly drop it on the um comment section, then we attend to it. Do you have a lovely time? Bye.